Hey everyone, so welcome to another episode of Ask Shane. So another cracking couple of questions that have come in this week via our YouTube channel. Really appreciate the question, guys. I think you're going to really enjoy these questions. They're really interesting. In many ways very different as well, which is what we like, it's all about. Okay, let's take a look. First question that come up, fascinating question. Okay, so this come in from Patrick 729 from YouTube. Hi Shane, I love watching your videos. What is your views on time? Do you believe everything is happening all at once and time is an illusion? Do you think that when we come to the end of this life, we could quite as easily live a past life, as there is no past or future, just the now? What are your thoughts if you understood my gobbledygook? Love that, lovely sense of humour. First and foremost, Patrick, I really I don't feel that your question is gobbledygook. I think this is a really in-depth subject. It's not the easiest question in the world, which is absolutely what all of this is about. You know, it's good to kind of challenge thoughts, perceptions, and our views and our ideas. So, you know, a lot of what I'm going to be sharing with you is just kind of based on my own personal experience. What are my views on time? Okay, I think that time is a strange one. The many conversations that I've had with the innate, with spirit, especially through some of the rare times within a consultation that a person's loved one will talk about the moment of passing, or the moments of passing, or that sense of time on the other side of life. So you see how often we kind of use the idea and the concept and the orientation to time. You know, it's become I don't know if you heard that as well. We were baking bread and the timer's just gone off on the oven. Timing is everything. So Spirit, I have a wonderful sense of humour, but there's a kind of sense of, you know, daily orientation to time. As I say, some of the most wonderful experiences of conversations that I've had with the innate, conversations I've had with spirit and the departed, around the moments that they passed, was one of the things that comes up time and time again, is this sense of things becoming timeless. So it's almost this sense of stepping out of time, as if everything just almost stills and becomes timeless. I know I've had experiences myself at different times, especially when I was up in the mountains within Scotland, even several years back on my long distance tour that we done, where we cycled up the west coast and then back down the middle of Scotland. It was almost as if after a period of time, we have this relationship to time. After a period of time, everything just kind of become almost timeless. It was this sense of dropping out of time. And some of that may have been the fact that we were not, and this is an important point, that we were not living to the rhythm of time. We were living to our own rhythm. So you would eat when you needed to eat, you would stop when you needed to stop, you would sleep when you needed to sleep. So you disconnected from that sense of time. So I absolutely hear what you're saying, Patrick, and I kind of get a sense of, from my own personal experiences and the conversations that I've had with Spirit, that you're absolutely correct in what you say. And I think those experiences I had in Scotland was where we're undoing the kind of conditioning that we have around time. And the more we kind of dropped into that kind of mindset, or the more we kind of dropped into our own natural rhythm, as if time was beginning to just kind of almost, for us at least, begin to dissolve. Or was it we were dropping into a more natural, innate reality and relationship to time? I know that, some of those conversations I've had with people that passed, they said it was almost like there was just this sense of just complete grace and complete stillness, and this sense of no association or orientation to time, as if everything was, as you say, everything was happening completely all at the same time, as if there was this knowing and interconnected sense to past, present and future. And as you rightly say, there is only the now. And the more I think that we take the layer off that, because it's almost like we're hardwired, we're completely have built this relationship to time. Humanity's built this relationship to time in a way to kind of create order, for us to be able to kind of function and kind of navigate the world in the way that we do. But I think there's something else going on here as well. I know that I heard a gentleman talking. I'll share this with you, and it would be really good for those of you who are interested to kind of research a little bit more. That there was an older calendar that predates the calendar that we use now, that was more naturally in tune with the natural kind of rhythms of life. And the one that we kind of use now is in a way throwing us out of sync, so to speak. And I thought it was kind of fascinating concept, and one that I really get, because depending where you are in the world, depending also with the seasonal kind of pulses that you have, that there is a natural kind of rhythm to life. And the more closer you get to that kind of natural rhythm, the more it seems to feel as if you're stepping outside of time. I know going back, it's felt like as if there was a lack of time, and as if everything was kind of almost speeding up. So there is this kind of odd complexity to time, and your question is really thought provoking. And I hear people saying now, it's almost a sense of everything's kind of sped up, and I kind of get a feeling of that, and for me, what I feel that is there's a sense of acceleration. There's a sense of acceleration. The other thing is technology has accelerated, so everything feels as if it's sped up. You've only got to look at humanity and see everybody rushing through time. I've got a good friend that says you're either in time, which I think is what you're absolutely talking about, Patrick, is that you're either in time or you're moving through time. You know, within my work, sometimes you also see people that are lost completely in the future. So they're completely lost in the future. You know, there's this sense of anxiety to their relationship to the future, and they're kind of lost in the future. Or there's a sense of people that are, in a way, in a place of kind of hurt, a place of almost regret, which is kind of the relationship to the past, but not really in the now. And you can really sense that with some people. There's a sense of they're not fully present with you. There's a part of them that literally is in the future, or there's a part of them that literally is in the past. It's almost like a sense of fragmentation, as if a part of them is fragmented. And what we try to do is kind of help them understand their relationship to the past or their relationship to the future, and what's driving it, what's creating it, and bring them back to the present. You know, the present is an absolute present, is a gift. And I know that when I come out of hospital the second time round, after my second operation, I remember standing in the doorway of the hospital and feeling the sunlight on my face and saying to myself, from this moment onwards, because it was such a gift, and I'd taken a very slow walk on crutches to the hospital door, and it would have taken, you know, moments in a wheelchair, but I was determined to walk out of the hospital. And I remember standing there, feeling the sunlight on my face, standing there at the hospital door. I think it was the first time round, not the second time round, thank you. And feeling the sunlight on my face, and just saying to myself and saying very clearly, from this moment I will try not to ever waste a single moment. And that's what I think we're talking about, is fully engaging where we are. I think it's a fascinating question, and one maybe we can explore a lot further as well as we go forwards. I really appreciate it, Patrick, and it's not gobbledygook. The other thing it is, it's kind of really hard to express the language to be able to kind of express and share in such a wonderful, if not complex question, and therefore brings out a kind of complex answer. But love it, absolutely love it. Keep them coming. I say we can explore that further maybe as we go forwards as well. You know, it's like when you hear people, you know, have meditative experiences, and after a while of meditating for a while, and kind of building up that that kind of inner stillness, they drop. And here's the thing, dropping into, it's that thing, you know, talk about moving through time or in time. They drop into the meditation, and an hour passes as if it feels like only 5 minutes. So there's definitely something going on with our relationship to time. Fantastic question, Patrick. Absolutely love it. The other wonderful question that's come in, let's have a look who, Stargazer via YouTube. Okay, and it come in, both of these questions have come in from our previous video. What is the best way to make contact with your loved ones, and just what is the white tunnel? Stargazer's gone on to say, is it possible to see spirit but when they are still alive, but without the body, if that makes sense? I think that absolutely completely makes sense. There's been more than one occasion where I've picked up on somebody, around somebody that is alive, and there's a couple of answers to this actually. Is sometimes if someone is going through an ongoing illness, you know, ones that I remember very clearly was picking up on somebody that had dementia, and they were actually in a nursing home, And it was the lady's brother, and she said, "You've just described my brother to a T, but he's still here. It's exactly him down to a T, but he's still here. However, he has dementia, and there is exactly a part of him that is no longer here." And I kind of get a sense of what actually is going on is where that person in a way is more in the other world than they're in our world. So there's a part of them that is in a way moving between those two worlds. So, you know, in a way they can kind of show up. There's a part of them that is moved beyond where they are. That's one kind of experience that I've had. The other experience which you know, to me absolutely makes sense, and another way to kind of really understand this is go and see one of my previous videos about psychic stress and just who is Dr. Amuto. Okay, so what we're talking about and what we're about to talk about is the power of thought. Okay, so the power of thought, very, very powerful. So I know, because I've experienced this firsthand as well, not just within some of the experiences I've had with the work that I do. But picture this. We've all had this experience actually, is where you think of a friend, and later that day, you know, they come into your mind. So you wake up in the morning and clearly in your mind is a good friend of yours. And then later on that day, the phone rings, and as the phone rings, you look at the phone, you think, I know it's going to be them. You pick up the phone, it is them. Or you think of that friend in the morning, you go across town, and you haven't seen them for a while, but clearly they're in your mind. You go across town and you bump literally into them, and you have a feeling that you're going to, yet you haven't thought about them at that level for maybe a few weeks or even months. In some cases even years, which brings even further validation. You know, it's certainly not a random event. Now I've had experiences definitely with some previous relationships, definitely where the person, it's as if, just like spirit, as if they've walked through the door. So they've literally walked through the door, and you can sense the energetic presence of that person, and they show themselves not dissimilar to spirit. They appeared not dissimilar to spirit, and you can feel the presence. And you almost get a sense of being able to kind of feel what they're saying, or get a sense of what is kind of being communicated, yet they're alive. And then the validations I've had for that is where someone I knew really, 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 really well, and I helped them in a really kind of profound way, and in a way the help that I gave them was, you know, it was kind of huge, but it also installed a sense of that not everybody's bad. You know, not everybody's going to take, not everybody's going to hurt you. You know, so it was quite profound for them. And later on that evening, they were sitting there, and there was that they just kind of had an immense feeling of gratitude. Immense feeling of gratitude for the situation, immense feeling of gratitude for me. And they sat there, they closed their eyes, and they reached out to me to say thank you. I'm sitting there, just finished up consulting, sitting there, and I felt them almost literally come through the door. And as they come through the door, I felt this huge sense of heart, this huge sense of feeling, this huge sense of gratitude from them washed over me. And I remember saying out loud, "It's okay. It's all okay. It's okay. And with that, it was almost as if they just gently dissolved and they went out the door. Now, this is how I see this. Where your thoughts go, your energy goes. Where your energy goes, a part of you goes. And if you're aware and you're conscious and you're sensitive to that level of subtle energy, I think there's a part of you that will pick up on that. There's a part of you that will see that and experience that. And for me, you know, that was kind of quite profound. And it's something that, you know, I often kind of pick up on around other people, you know, and I say, there's this person in your life, and describe them. I say, you're incredibly close. I mean, you're incredibly close. And that's a really healthy or really solid or very, very close relationship. And they look at me and they say, how do you know that? I say, because the person, there's a part of that person within your auric field. Okay, there's a part of that person within your auric field. Because where their thoughts have gone, where their love has gone. If we think about love, okay, so love is a hugely powerful force. It is an immensely powerful force. Where their thoughts go, where their love goes, a part of them goes, and it shows up because it's, even though it's subtle, it's kind of there within that aura. It's almost imprinted, which if you flip the coin, can also be, there can be the opposite aspect to that, you know, where you know, it can be almost quite kind of traumatic or quite painful, where, you know, there's a separation or a relationship breaks down or a friendship changes, and that kind of energy moves away. You know, it literally just moves away, and you hear people say, well, I just feel empty. I feel lost. I feel like there's a part of me that just feels ripped open. And I've just got this void, because their energy, their thoughts, and that part of them has left. Do you see, guys, how powerful this is? So, you know, for me, Stargazer, that makes complete sense. And I think that when people are thinking of people and you are thinking of somebody, you know, there's a part of your thought that travels, part of your energy that travels, and there's a big part of you that travels and it shows up. So I think that's really hugely powerful. So yeah, I do. I see it is absolutely possible for that to show up, and that to almost seem like, as it does when spirits show up. You know, because after all, we are one and the same. We are spirit. You know, we are that, and we return to that. We come from that, so to speak. Again, such a thought-provoking question. Hope that shed some light on it, guys. And as I say, if you would like a question kind of explored, because this is what it's all about. I'm not saying that I'm completely right. It's all based on my own experiences over the years. But if you'd like a question, kind of featured in a future video, please do feel free to comment below. As I say, Ask Shane is a ongoing weekly development series. You can find my daily content and thought-provoking posts via my Facebook page, which is Spirit Meets Adventure. And those of you that are watching this on Spirit Meets Adventure, you can find a whole wealth of resources and videos via a YouTube channel if you search Shane Gadd. And those of you who have asked about Instagram, which is a lot of where our venturing photos and kind of inspiration goes, which is shane.gadd, and all of this is brought to you via www.shanegadd.com. Cheers, guys. See you all soon. Keep up the wonderful questions. They're absolutely fascinating. Speak soon. Bye bye, guys. Bye.